All right, traders out there, if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube, thank you for tuning in to the Algo Alliance live stream. Today is February the 19th. Starting to build a little momentum off the bottom here today. We're a little red on the market, down 0.17%. If you're trading with us this morning, it's important to remember that this is purely for educational advice. Trading is extremely risky and you do so at your own risk. This is not considered investment advice. If you have been watching the stream, so far on the stream we have been green every day since last Monday on the stream. Every trade that we've streamed on Twitch or YouTube has been a hit. Yesterday, full disclosure, if you keep up with us in the live trading room, yesterday I actually had my first red day in about maybe 16-17 days. Got chopped up on a few setups. Decided to shut down shop yesterday, but I'm back in the saddle today. We do have a buy. You can see starting to break above this volume that we have here. We're at 196, 197, trying to get a push over 200. 1 second. This is kind of the area we were fighting with yesterday. 200, 210, wanting to see a break above that to eventually start running up towards 240s. We actually did not get that break until after 1 o'clock p.m. yesterday, Pacific Standard Time, which is kind of like market close. All right, so as the market is open today, we might get an opportunity to start building some momentum, getting over 210, start hitting some of these levels up here around 250, 240 that you can see. So right now I'm kind of waiting for a pullback, looking to get long somewhere around point of control. It's the same as yesterday, feels like, but maybe today after I had a bunch of news release, getting a breakthrough some of these levels here, maybe an easier breakthrough. Yesterday I went for a long, hoping to get a break above 205, 210, and ultimately the market kind of crashed and made a drop off. Yesterday. So the way I trade, just so we all are on the same page, I like to use multiple bullets to scale into a trade. So I may have multiple areas of interest when I'm getting into a trade. Give yourself a chance for a trade to work out for you. So let's say you're trading, just to kind of break it down for you guys, let's say you're trading MNQ, and your goal is to get 10 MNQ contracts on. I may scale in on my first bullet with 2 or 3 contracts, and then on my next bullet I may put about 4 contracts, and then maybe if I go 3 bullets I'll get 3 contracts on. And the goal of it is I'd rather be putting on more size as we get closer and closer to different support levels to get a better average. So let's say hypothetically you put on 3 contracts at 200. Not that I'm saying do that, but you put on 3 at 200, then you put on 3 more at 80. You'll now have an average of 90. Just mathematically speaking, because it's going to give you the average of what your position size is and the way that you scale. Whereas if you were to put on, let's say, 2 contracts at 200 and then 4 contracts at 80, you'll get an average closer to like 85 or 86, somewhere in that range, because you have more size at 80. But know what your max size is going to be, and then use that as a barometer to scale into it. You can break it down evenly. Sometimes I go evenly. Sometimes I, depending on the setup and the way the volume profile is looking on that day, I may mix it around and go 2, 3, 5, and to get my 10 on altogether. Scaling is an art form. Does take a while to learn. I like to say it's an inexact science. All right, starting to get a bit of a pullback here. Still waiting. It's just really about patience, guys. Let the trade come to you. We may get a deeper pullback here. So somewhere around this area, 190, 185 area, we're gonna maybe start getting a bit of our setup what we'd like to see. And then I'll look to scale into this trade. The goal is I want to get a starter somewhere in this area here, which I'm gonna start taking now. All right, we're getting close to point of control. So I'm going to start in here around 187. You know, we're getting our entry dots, getting a little bit of a dip here. We also have some volume, some nice volume headed into 185. And so I like to try to scale every 20. So I'm in now 187. I'm looking to add around 177, 167, somewhere down here. Probably going to be around 170. I look for which volume that I have closest to 20 points away. I've done, you know, over time, our algorithm, we've done a lot of math over on MNQ just based off the range in which it trades. You know, oftentimes when we're scaling into a trade, we kind of have a 20 to 40 point buffer zone from our entry, which is why sizing is truly important here. You want to give yourself a fighting chance. And as I've stated before, when you trade, you know, we work with different prop firms. We have multiple accounts. The objective isn't to hit home runs. We're looking to get doubles and singles and get on base every single day. When you have multiple firms, that allows you to see small wins add up. You know, if you have 5 accounts and you're making $200 a day, you know, you're making $1,000 a day, and that's, you know, that's pretty decent money. Ultimately, almost $5,000 a week, $20,000 a month. Here in America. So, you know, try to see the small numbers and the beauty of the ad if you're trading at a firm and you have multiple firms. And so you want to continue to build that up, give yourself a fighting chance, and not necessarily go for home runs. Look for doubles and singles. Get on base every day. So I want to see how we hold up here at point of control. And then I'm looking at some levels just below it, around 170-ish. And then I'm going to look to scale into this long. And as we get a better average, catch the zone here, look for a pop back up, back over 195, and start rushing towards 210 again. And then I'm looking to take a bit of an ad here, which I did. Now I'm in half size with a close to 180 average. We just broke above this level here, 180, 190 area. Start pushing towards 210. Definitely some resistance here. Start scaling into the zone here, and then look for a push back up over point of control. And so far, I feel good. I'm in at 180. I want to see a little slowdown here as we start approaching some of this support, this last bit of volume area here. And then ultimately some of these buyers kick back in. Or we'll have a situation like yesterday where they just can't get through 210, which is kind of what's happening again. We're still fighting with 210. It's been a bit of a fight for 2 days now. We haven't had the sell kick in yet. So I want to see how we react to this level down here. and then look to get an add-on if possible. A bit of a bounce here. This is a deeper pullback than what we usually get, but it's still kind of within the parameters. I'm half size. I have not added full size into this yet. And we're getting a bit of a sell here. So we got another head fake on a push out towards 210 and then an engulfing pattern. So what I'll look to do is to close this trade out and book a small loss with half size. I lost $300 on that trade, and that's okay. And this is why I scale in using light size as we get towards support and resistance. I kind of want to see how it reacts to this area. This is a deeper pullback. So as of today, we're still fighting with 210 as we did yesterday. If you're watching on the stream, this is actually our first loss on stream, and it's kind of the same situation we had yesterday. It's just the buyers are having a tough time fighting over this area, which is interesting because we are at all-time highs, so it's not much historical precedence for being up here. And just full disclosure, so you guys can see. On the 25% and to stay alive to experience the 75 to 85%. And how I do that is watching my sizing. I have no problem booking a loss, especially if it's within my risk parameters. So I'm gonna keep the stream going now because we honestly got to flip back. So we see where the resistance is here. It's essentially waiting now for, I would say, a point of control pullback, or we could just chop around again today. If you're inside the live trading room and inside of our Discord, we did send out an alert that told you that we do have a sell trend detected. So if you are in a long position, my recommendation is to close it, book a small loss if you can, and then reset yourself. Part of the reason we don't chase, I always say the chase is a mistake. These alerts, we do not necessarily follow these blindly. What we do is we wait for these to break high volume areas, and then we look for pullbacks towards other volume areas for a continuation of the current momentum. You know, we're momentum traders here. It is, and I'm human too, just so you guys know. It's extremely frustrating to close a trade at the bottom, watch it pop back towards your average and not get out at break even. But I usually don't play those games where I'm holding on to a loser. You know, when you're in a loser, you want to cut that as soon as you possibly can and then try to maximize your winners to the best of your ability. I'm gonna start scaling into a short towards point of control at 200 here. which is interesting. I want to see if this short gets chopped. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to be patient on this. I really would like to see some rejection off of this point of control in this 200 area, this 180 area again before I jump in, because it could be a situation like yesterday. For whatever reason, we seem to be chopping around in this area without getting any clear direction. So it's been a bit of a range here. All right, I'm going to start in short here around point of control, and I'm going to give this to about 205, 210 area with a stop just above here. If the buyers break through, I'll look to reset again and then try to catch this long if that's what it wants to do. It's unfortunate. I do not like getting chopped up, but it's also part of the game, and I cut my losers as quickly as I possibly can when the market isn't behaving the way that I like. This is a deep pullback, guys. That's almost 100%. Almost 100% of this move. We put in a higher high, and this even broke this low. So I had stops kind of waiting just below here, right where we got triggered. So I'm in at 185. We're at 195 now. It's possible I cut this within 10 points if I don't like the action. The long would have worked out, but it is a little off system for us the way that it happened. So right now I'm trying to see if we get some more momentum here, if the sellers re-kick in back towards these highs and just kind of trade it back down in the range again. I'm in around 185. And I probably will cut this over 200. Looking at these areas just above here and not getting in too deep on my size, guys. The real play on this market, even with our system, is still going to be a break below these high volume modes down here or above these volume modes down here. But I'll look to try to scale into some of these areas and see if we can kind of get a range play off of this. I'm in at 185 and I'm just waiting to see a little bit of a rejection here. And then start trading it back down into the zone. All right, looking for rejection off of 195, 200 area, so we can get a stuff back down below point of control and start trading back down to some of these lower levels. Keep a tight stop on it. Do not allow yourself to get chopped. Do not go heavy on your size. Just try to respect your sizing. I'm being honest with you guys. This has been a bit of a struggle area for us yesterday and again today. Be aware of that. And we can see the range is starting to shrink just a little bit as they still are trying to find a direction on what they want to do here towards all-time highs. If they want to run it, reject it. If they want to run it up to more highs, or if they want to reject it and kind of get back into some more historical levels. Again, I'm short around 185. If you're watching on the stream. With a tight stop above this, looking for a rejection at this level, and I'll look to take some off and a break down through 180, 170 area, and then see if we can trade. traded back down. So how I've been managing risk in this trades, because we haven't gotten what we wanted, I usually trade NQ, usually about 2 to 3 NQ per trade. Because these areas here have been a bit of a struggle, I've switched to MNQ on the day, just so I get what I like. You know, it is important to be aware of price action and let that dictate what you trade and the size that you use. So how I'm managing this trade now is I'm in with 10 MNQ. What I'll do is I'll keep a stop just above 200 here, guys. I'm not going to give this 15, 20, 30 points to run against me. I will stop out just above this area here if this market decides to push up and make new highs. Ideally, what I'm looking to see is a rejection off of this volume point here in the point of control and start to trade down into some of these thinner areas here, kind of like what we just did when we were trying to scale into this long and hoping that 185 held up, looking for a continuation back down. What we've been doing is kind of putting in an Adam and Eve pattern where we've been putting in higher highs then lower lows, and so that's a bit of a chop and whipsaw back and forth as the market's looking to make a decision. If you're trading this on higher time frames, like a 15-minute, 30-minute, those are usually what we call railroad tracks, where it goes one way then goes right back the other way. And so we've been getting a bit of railroad tracks in these areas, which is why I've reduced my size from trading NQ to MNQ. So when the setups aren't necessarily acting 100%, I want to make sure that on losses I'm making them smaller than you know, my wins, just to protect myself. And we're still fighting and struggling with this area here. And there's no shame in reducing size, protecting your accounts, and doing what you have to do. This game is about risk management and survival. Over time, I know you know your stats. And I'm still in the short 185. I have a bit of a stop just above this high area here. The market decides it wants to continue to make new highs, and I'll reset for the long. Knowing net full well now that we have more buyers re-kick back in and reload. But ideally, I want to see this thing continue to range straight, see if we get a dump back below 85, and then head back down towards some of these lower levels. Keep your sides in check, keep your stops in check. And I say these things while we're in a trade because as a trader, these are things that you need to be thinking. Try to avoid your emotions, understand where your areas are, understand what your sizing is. And I'm not going to give this much more time either. I kind of want to see this thing start to work out within the next 5 or so minutes here. I don't want them to hang around here and continue to consolidate. Consolidation is a buildup of volume. Exactly. I'm going to stop here, guys. I don't like what the trade is doing, and so I will stop out at -10. Exactly. So this is kind of what happened yesterday. We had back-to-back losses in the same exact zone where we chopped back above 210, went back down, broke below 250 as the market continued to do kind of exactly what it's doing now. And in the midst of this, I ended up losing $600 per account. I took 2 back-to-back $300 losses. And now we're getting the breakout above 210 area that we wanted the first time. Unfortunately, we got a deeper pullback. And so now that the market is reacting right, we railroad tracked on a 15-minute, swept the lows, swept the highs. Now we engulfed it and took off. Now I'll look to reset again and try to get in on this pullback, knowing now that we have support here at 185. Buyers refreshed themselves, took out the lows here, took out the sellers here that was left. Whatever sellers was in this area got swept. They got trapped here, pulled back up. I know, because I was those sellers. Well, I didn't get into around this area here. And this is why I don't chase. You know, if you had chased this breakdown, breakdowns don't have a high efficiency rate. You would have got in around 165 and then got ripped all the way back up towards 200. But because we waited for a pullback, scaled in here, we were able to mitigate that loss to about 10, 15 points. And if you're watching this on Twitch or on YouTube, yes, guys, somebody's actually trading live and showing you that losses do happen. I am human, but I'm also showing you the process of how I manage the loss. That's also part of trading. We're risk managers here. Obviously, we all want to win every single trade that we put on, but that's not the reality, guys. I know my system has a 75 to 85% win rate. My goal is not to die on the 25%. All right, so if you're watching on stream, because of the way the market is setting up today, here now on the third signal, we had two back-to-back pullbacks that just did not work out, that went deeper than normal. Again, same thing on the short. We pull back to maybe this is 50% retracement area, high volume here at 180 at 85. I tried to scale into the zone here, get a short off, and then keep my stops just above here. But the buyers did kick in and refresh under the point of control, and then took this back off over this volume. Now we're getting into thin zones up here to where we can possibly see a run up to 250, 260, and that's the trade I wanted from yesterday. Just couldn't get it. It happened after hours, but now we're finally getting it to happen intraday. Finally starting to build some higher highs here, some higher lows here, with inside of a deep range. So now what I'll be looking for is a pullback towards these volume areas. Look to get long. If this the thing decides to go without me, I will let it go. I will not chase this zone here. That will be FOMO. You have fear of missing out on this long all the way up towards 240, 250. Do I want to catch it? Yes, I do. But I also want to catch it safely, because to chase is a mistake. If you chase these lows here, expecting the market to break down, you got ripped back up to high a day. Well, I wouldn't say high. We're at high days now, almost high day. Yeah, this is pre-market, and this is market open around 6:30. It's 9:30 Pacific Standard Time. High day is over 220. You can see the volume resting just here. If we break above 220, there's really nothing stopping us from going to 250, 260. But I would not chase in this area, guys. I do like the buy, but I wouldn't chase it. Let it go and let the trade come back to you. And these are the things that I tell myself while I'm in a trade. As a trader, we feel many things. I'm watching this market whipsaw me back and forth. On some level, yeah, I wanted to be right on every trade I took. I even want to jump in now. But being a trader for a while, I've seen so many different patterns over time. Right now, we have to break high a day, which is around intraday highs. I'll say intraday highs, which is around 220. Pre-market highs is up here around 250. Yeah, 250. Shocking. Intraday highs, and then here. These areas are grayed out. I don't usually trade during pre-market or the market open. I kind of wait here till we get all the news out of the way. It mitigates a lot of the chop and allows the market to pick a direction. But for the last 2 days, we did chop in this zone. So. Yeah, one of our members here inside of our Discord just put a link out. FTT, Fast Track Trader, are I really don't like talking about other prop firms here, but Fast Track Trader. I'm not sponsored by any of them, but we were at Fast Track Trader before switching over to MFFU and Tradeify, and think I made maybe 40 grand over at FTT in a month or 2 months. And if anyone's familiar with Fast Track Trading, they filed for bankruptcy and they pretty much left a lot of traders holding the bag as they did not pay out. And they are now testifying live in court today about what happened with that. It was a class action lawsuit out against FTT. So some of our traders here got caught in that. I got caught in that as well too. And this is part of the reason why I say that if you're trading with a prop firm, you build an account, get your payouts, guys. Get your payouts, then look to go build the account again. Been in this space for some years. I've seen a lot of firms come and go. I've seen more things that I couldn't explain it to you guys. It's been a lot. FTT was one of those shiny objects that came out. I think they sent out a lot of payouts within the first couple of weeks. Traders were getting paid. But then because they weren't really running evals, and I think the rules were a little loose, maybe they got in too deep too fast and just couldn't do it. It happens. All right, so still here, we're consolidating just above 200, 210, which is great. I would love to see them build volume over 210, give us a base here. To start getting in long and then ultimately take off towards 240, 250 area. Still waiting for a pullback. I won't chase here in this area. I kind of wanted this to get to here, around use this as a base 195 area, but it's possible we just kind of flag here, consolidate for a bit. And again, I still have trust issues with this area, guys. I'm still trading MNQ right now. I have not switched back to NQ because I don't trust it just yet. I need to see a break above 220 in the continuation, but I also know I need to be buying into this base here. Seeing how we do around 210, 205, which is previous resistance. Hopefully now turn support. I'm going to start in here light size. And then look to scale 210, 195 area with a stop just below the point of control. The range is clear now. Buyers need to hold this level here. Here, I'll make a thick red line. These are essentially the zones today. Let me delete this. And it's basically the point of control. All right, so I'm scaling in here around 210. I have a 210 average. We'll be looking to add around 95 area, try to get a little bit more size on it right here, and then I'll keep a tight stop on this. I don't want to get whipsawed again. I got whipsawed yesterday. I got whipsawed again today. Buyers are just still struggling to get over 220. Right now, we finally broke the 205, 210 barrier, so I do like that. So that means the bids are stepping up, the buyers are stepping up to bring this higher. And then if we start getting up here towards 210 areas, I'll put a little more size on, guys, and then start to hide behind these zones here. It's been a bit of a pain the last couple days with this area. But this is kind of what we want to see. Break above 205, bit of a consolidation, kind of set up a double bottom base here. These are the zones that I'm watching. I kind of want to scale in. I have an average here. I'd like to add a little bit here. Maybe get one more ad in the zone here, but I will stop out just below the zone here. I don't want to see the buyers get back below the point of control. I'm looking for a build up and a breakthrough 220, and then look to trail this thing up as it starts to move towards 245, 250. Full disclosure, if you're tuning in and you're watching on Twitch or on YouTube, click the link in the bio, join our Discord memberships. We aren't charging for memberships the month of February. We are streaming live, usually one signal a day on YouTube and Twitch, but the way this kind of worked out today, they all kind of happened back to back as we got railroad tracked and Little Whip Salt. As I said, I have a 75 to 85% win rate. My goal is to stay alive during the 25. Do not blow your accounts. Don't give back everything. And really try to manage risk, guys. I'm not 100%. If you guys have any system out there that you trade that you believe is 100%, I am all ears. Please send me an email. Algo Alert. Algo Alert Alliance @gmail.com. Please send me an idea for a 100% system if you have it. I've been trading for 10, 15 years. I've yet to find one. But a lot of this is really just momentum and understanding directionality and volume profile. All right, getting a bit of a curl here, which is kind of what we want to see. We want to see a slow walk towards 220, get to this thin area around here on this volume, and then we kind of can run on this thing, guys. So I want to keep a decent stop on this, trail this thing up, and let the volume work for you, let the trade work for you. In a perfect world, we wouldn't have gotten chopped here. I usually close this because we did sweep these lows, guys. That's the reason I closed it. If you ask why I didn't hang into this long, oh, you could have stayed in. I could have, but we swept below this low, this intra low here, kind of hit this base, broke below it. I kept a stop just below it, and I stopped out. If you want to ask, well, you know, this short, I kept a tight stop on this short as well too. I got in around this point of control area with a tight stop around here, and we broke through it. The goal is to manage risk. Once the market misbehaves, I cut it off and I go into the next trade. One thing I've learned over the years is that there will be another trade. I don't have to get married to one. Even this one, I'm not married to it. I want to see how it react around 220. We need to break 220, guys. Then over 220, 225, this can go. But you don't want to chase the breakout. You want to be in before that so that you have a better average, tighter stops, closer to your bases. To chase is a mistake. Whoever saw the first 220 break and jumped in up here to 225, they got pulled back to 205, 20 down 20 points instantly. And this is what we want to see. We're starting to build up. Nice little base here. We kind of doubled at 205, which was the previous resistance area that I kept rejecting off of. Now this resistance just turned to support, kind of doubled here. And now what I'm looking for is a slow build up off of this. You can see we built a higher low. And now we're curling with a flat top breakout looking to occur around 220 area. We've been trying this area for 2 days now. The more you knock on the door, the more traders knock on the door, the more it's more likely to open. But I'm still respecting my size. And I'm gonna let the buy work out. If you get up 10 points, just 10, 15 points, I would recommend selling half your position, rolling your stops to break even to protect your accounts. And then look to keep a piece on for the trail. All right, so this is a moment of truth here for the market, guys. Starting to push it towards 220. We're curling up to it. We're getting over all this volume that we have right here. I want to see how this thing reacts. If you got in at 210, if you want to take some profit at 20, I would totally understand that. I would recommend doing that. Maybe roll your stops and then look to trail this move up here. If we break above 220, there is room for this market to extend out. We aren't out of the woods yet on this long, guys. We need to continue up over 220. You can see the fight here, and they're trying to curl this thing and push through. Respect your stop, respect your size. Full disclosure, I had it. I started in here. I added a little bit in up here as this trade started to work in our favors. I've now moved my stops up a little bit to here. I'm no longer giving this to point of control. And if we break above 220, I'll roll my stops to this zone just above 210 here. But a point of control, that's too far down, guys. Protect your accounts. All right, we just had a close on the 15-minute. Nice little doji pattern up here. Want to see a continuation and a break above 220 for the continuation. If not, keep a tight stop. I would not let this thing get back below 205 on me, because it could reject hard if they don't break it. So you want to protect yourself. Hopefully you guys took some profit at 220. Move your stops to break even. Look to reset. We did not get the curl breakthrough just yet. It's not to say it can't happen, but you want to watch it. Protect yourself. Don't chase the breakout. So this is good. We see 205 continuing to hold up. That's 3 taps off 205. I want to see this thing build some momentum and get over 220. That's the way you can get more out of this long. If not, look to bell on this thing as it trades back into its range. It can happen. None of us control what the market can do. What the market does. We're reacting to what we are seeing. And it's clear. We got to get above this area, guys. That's the way this long extends. So if you're in, kind of want to look for some support around 205, 200, 205, 200 area. Try to get a scaling average close to here if you can. If you get a scaling average below 205 in this zone here, keep a stop at point of control. Ideally, I do not want to see this get back to point of control. I will bail on this long. This area needs to hold up, consolidate, break through. And this is typical price action behavior. Nothing out of the normal yet. We pushed up, the market consolidate to take a breath here, and then you want to see it take the next leg up. Consolidation is when the market consolidates, it's building volume. You see this? The volume just started to build a little bit more here at 214, 215. So we had buyers reload. Consolidation is good for levels. The more we consolidate here, the more this area holds up over time because they finally got a chance to trade inside of it. So I want to see them put some more pressure on 220 and look for a break above. Respect your stops. Respect your size. Point of control just moved up here, so there's a lot of volume being traded up here, guys. It's going to break one way or another. Either this volume is going to get trapped and it stuffs, or this is going to be the nice break point where they can build a lot of volume here, which is what they did, and then use this as support to continue up for the upward movements. Looking for a break of 220 here. There's a lot of volume being traded in this area. As far as the long is concerned, it's still behaving, so that's good to see. Again, if you're still in, I'd recommend taking a little bit of profit at 220 to protect yourself, just in case the breakout doesn't come, and then protect your stops. And protect your account and roll your stops is what I meant to say. Sorry, guys. This is what I'm saying. They have to break the zone here. Or we built a lot of volume up here, as you can see, as the point of control moved up. If they're unable to break over 220, 225 area and continue up, then we now have a lot of volume trapped up here, and this would be resistance. But if the breakout does come, this is a really good area now for support, which they've been building here for 2 days now. We've been waiting for this break over 220 for 2 days now. It may come, it may not, but how you trade it, you don't deal with absolutes. I say things like they might break it. They may break it, they may not. How you protect your account is you sell some at the 220 area where they've been rejected, and then you roll your stops up so you protect your account. If they break it and you're in it, great for you. But if they don't break it and you took some profit here, good for you too. You know, we're not looking to hit a home run. If we get a home run, great. And yes, I'm a trader. I'm human. I want home runs too. Trust me, guys. I feel everything you guys feel. Been doing this for a while. But every day we're fighting against fear, FOMO, greed, all those things. And this is good. I like that they're consolidating a little bit higher now. So the range is tightening up between 215 and 220. You can see they're still walking this up ever so slightly. I'm not a chart artist or anything like that, but you know, you can see the price action. They're walking this up slowly but surely. And I want to see that happen off this base here. You know, That's what I'm watching. I'm watching the price action as this range tightens, but I'm also fully aware that they need to break 220. There's a lot of volume being built here. If they stuff, this would be a high volume marker up here. And that would be called a high day stuff as we get towards those zones. Again, this is the area where it's sold off pre-market, just so we're clear. Know where we are. They rejected this zone many times. Same story. Still consolidating in the zone. Still haven't broken 220. They're stair stepping this ever so slightly and building volume here. The market will pick a direction here soon. It's either going to be a stuff or a, I mean, it's not groundbreaking news, but you know, it's either going to go up or down. That's all a trader can tell you. But you know, but this is a big level, and it's been a big level for 2 days now. And we're going to need to see some volume over this thing. But they did build a nice little base here, consolidated, built some volume, and now they're starting to try to extend a little over 220. My recommendation is to trail it. If you're in, I would say take some profit just in case they stuff. Take some profit, not all, and then try to trail it with whatever little bit you have left. Because we could get an extension up here. It's thin. It's very thin up here, guys. All right, there's the break over 220, 225 area. I want to see this thing start speeding up a little bit. It's little to no volume here until we start hitting around 240, 250. Trail this thing up and try to get paid off of this. And this is the move we waited for yesterday, and they pretty much stuffed us every single time. I'm trailing this up. You do not want to give back gains, guys. If you waited for this trade, get paid for your time. I'm in 210. I have a profit stop at 225, and I'll just look to keep trailing this thing up. Ideally, we keep extending here. It's thin on the volume profile. I'll zoom in so you guys can see. There's really nothing here to stop this from going. So I kind of want to hang out a little bit below here and give this a chance. If you haven't taken some profit, as they say in New York, you wildin'. Take some profit. Don't be greedy. Take some profit, get paid for your time. And then if you want to be greedy, you do that with a piece. Trail with a piece, and then let that piece pay you. Yeah, looking up now, trying to see what's going on. And this thing could continue to curl and go. I'm looking to maybe 245, 250 area. And just trail this thing up. It's real thin over here, guys. Now you can see they put a little volume marker here, 230, and up we go. So just trail it. Just continue to extend up. It's real thin here. There's not much to stop it from extending. And up we go. Keep trailing. My recommendation is to trail. We're at 240 now. We could probably start seeing some slowdown around 245, 250 area. You want to trail this thing and get paid for your time. All right, I just got profit stop. All right, guys, if you took that long with us and you were in it, hopefully you were able to get some of your losses back. I'm still not green on the day. I took 2 back-to-back chops and I did not go full size on this because I was still waiting for this to break out. I'm still managing risks. Now that we actually have some extension over 220, as we look to trade this back, now I can trust this area a little bit more and start switching back to what I would normally do. But the goal is to manage risk, manage your account size, and then try to get in on the trades that matter. But I was able to reduce some losses here, which is great. Not getting too caught up in one single day. One single trade. But it took a while. It took literally 2 days for us to get over that 205, 210 area. And it became a bit of a fight and then ultimately consolidated. There's only really one way to do this. Give me a second. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm still streaming. I kind of want to show you some of this price action here. This was yesterday. You know, we flirted with, if you look to the far right, 210, 212 area. We kind of broke up above it, put in a high, and then they stuffed it and went back down. And then after hours, they finally ran this thing up. And then today, when the market opened around 6:30, we're still flirting around with 210. If you didn't trade pre-market, you didn't see any of this above this. It was still 210 was the area, and then they dumped it again. Then they went in, same thing, still fighting with this area. And then finally, as they broke it, or got a nice little shot above it with some volume, this kind of became a support area, and then it took off again. Um, so yeah, while we trade with our algo that gives us a sense of directionality and momentum. A big part of this is also being able to understand what volume profile, support, and resistance do as well too. And Algo Alert Alliance is not just, oh, we trade an indicator. No, it's to give us a directionality, and then at the same time minimize how many trades we're taking per day. So I'm not continually in this thing here over and over and over again. Just looking to take advantage of smaller moves intraday. We were able to catch a little bit of a base here around 205, 210 area, and then finally break up to 240. If you're watching on Twitch or on YouTube, be sure to like the stream, turn on your bell notifications so you get notified whenever we go live. Follow us as well. The link to the Discord is in the bio. It's also on the screen as well. I think I'm just having issues getting the link to go in there because of the stream deck that I'm using. It's not HTMLing, if that's even a word. It's not HTMLing the links, but you can copy and paste it into the browser. Streamed a little bit longer than normal today on Twitch and on YouTube, but we caught a lot of back-to-back. So if you guys are here and you stayed this long, thank you. If you also caught a bit of that long, I'm glad you did. But this is exactly why we trail. We went right up to 244, 243, 244, and this is exactly what I was saying. We could slow down a little bit up there, and if you didn't take profit and you were being greedy, waiting for 250, 260, it now pulled back and took pretty much 20, 30 points away from you for no reason. You didn't have to do that. So the goal is to trail this thing up, get what you can out of it, and then look to reset if you are a day trader. All right, guys, I'm going to end the stream on Twitch and on YouTube. Thanks. I'll be back in tomorrow whenever we get our first